What's up, everybody? I'm Blessed and Free. Welcome back to another episode of DOC TV. So this guest has been on the channel before. If you guys haven't seen his part one to this interview, I'm going to drop it in the description so you can go ahead and check that out first if you want to. He's got a crazy story. He was a skinhead in the California Department of Corrections. And we're going to pick up, he's already in prison, been in for 1.5 years on a 3-year sentence. And them federales are showing up, and now you know he's got a murder case. So, man, we left off with when, you know, you were walking down there and they were there to tell you they were hitting you with that murder. So you just take it from there, bro.
Yeah, it was 3.5 on the 7.
Oh, you had bid. 7 that bid?
Yeah, that bid 7.
Oh, damn. Yeah, I thought you did. I thought you said 3. My bad. But anyways,
no,
yeah,
you're good.
So you already were in there, going to be in there for a minute.
Yeah, down to R&R, and I seen a couple cops, and I knew them since I was a kid. You know, this is a small area, and I seen them, and they looked at me, and they started shaking their heads, and I was like, "All right."
Did you have any idea what they were there for?
Right when I seen them, yes.
Okay, like, so this has been like on your mind then?
Yeah, well, they came and questioned me in 2002. They came to the prison and questioned me.
Oh, okay. I got you.
You know, and then, so, I mean, I knew they were investigating.
Damn. So let me ask you, man, because when you tell me that, I'm like, damn, bro, like I can't even imagine being in prison. I mean, I can't imagine watching a dead body burn, first off, but let's take it to where you're at. You're in prison on a 7-year bid. Now detectives are coming to see you on this murder. Like, what was going through your mind, like when you went back to the dorm and you were just, you know, going to ride the rest of your bid out?
No, I didn't even go back to the dorm. They arrested me. They literally hooked me up and took me back to the county.
No, but I'm saying detectives came and saw you. You said,
oh, yeah.
When they came and saw you after they left and you went about your business, like, was that shit eating at you? Because that shit would be like, I wouldn't be able to stop thinking about it.
You know what eating at me was, I can't believe I did that. But then at that point, I was so deep into the game, like I was putting in so much work that I was like, if they come get me, they come get me. You know what I mean? And when they came got me, I was like, I'm never going home. Like, that's the first thing in my head. I was like, I'm never going home now.
Damn, bro, I can't even imagine what I would be going crazy. But let's back it up a little bit. So when you were in the California prison system, you were rocking as a skinhead, right?
Right. So
when you just said like putting in work, I'm assuming that's for the cause, your gang, and you know, politicking. So right, like, what is that like? Like when you say putting in work, because I don't know if the audience understands. That's what I'm trying to get at.
So level 3, you know, there was a couple riots. You know what I mean? There's a couple beat downs. Not very many stabbings, just a couple here and there. But when I went up to level 4, that already got me thinking like, this isn't for me. Even though I had to do what I had to do, I was like, this is scary, because you feel it. Like, you go to the yard, you feel it. There's tension.
Damn, it's like that, huh?
Yeah.
I've heard it's like that, but you know, a lot of, you know, people, when they talk about prison, they exaggerate and they blow it up, make it this big thing. But I mean, you're sitting here man to man telling me like, and you're not no small dude, and you were obviously about that life. So that was a whole nother life.
It was a whole nother life. Yeah. I was like, you know what? I got to do what I have to do to survive and get out of here. And then, but I was like, man, this is
for the birds.
Yeah. This is intense. Like, this is way too much for me.
So let me ask you, man. So when you were about that life and you were rocking out with the gang and everything, and then you go to level 4, say somebody's got a life sentence, man, and you know, gangs have structures, and there's people ahead of people, there's generals and all that shit. So is it possible that a guy, you know, one of your OGs or whatever you guys call them, can come up to you and say, yo, check me out. You're going to go put a knife in that dude in cell 108.
Yes.
What happens if you say, nah, I'm good, bro? I'm going to go watch TV.
Sometimes, so I'll give you an example. When I first went to level 4, my cellie was my boy that I've known since we were 8 years old.
That's crazy.
Right? Which was crazy in and of itself.
Yeah.
And I go in there, I was like, whoa, you know, I'm in here with this dude. They the skinheads came to the door, slid a knife and a little kite on the door and said, "Stab your celly."
Your homeboy that you grew up with.
Yeah. And I've known him, and they said he's a rat. And I'm like, well, show me paper.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to like pass the buck, I'm like, I don't want to, this is my dude, and
did you ask him when you found out, like, dog, are you on someone's paperwork?
yeah. So I kind of knew his get down, like him and his crimey got into something, and they made up a story together to tell cops. That was what it was. He didn't go tell on anybody, but they talked to cops. You know what I mean?
That's kind of, how do you feel about that?
I mean, if you and your crimey have an agreement, and that's like you guys are telling a story together,
yeah,
then it is what it is, like to me. But
yeah, you better make sure you get that fucking story right, though. Because the first time, you know what I'm saying? That's ended up what happening, obviously, with him. He's sitting in prison now next to you. So, like, did you pass the buck? Like, how do you do it? How do you get out of something like that?
I actually slid the knife back out, and I was on, I had to wait to come out of my cell until I seen the counselor. And so once I see the counselor, I go out to the yard, and it was like, why didn't you follow direct orders? I was like, look, man, I'm all about structure and everything, but you guys got to show me paperwork. I'm not, what if I stab this dude and then the dudes in the shoe come back and say that I made a wrong call?
Yeah. Then you're fucked on that too.
Yeah. And they go, okay, well, the next time you have to do something.
What, when they give you the paperwork?
Yeah. No, they never gave me paperwork on my boy. Never.
Oh, they're saying next time we ask you to do something, you better fucking do it, basically.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. So when you said like it was scary at level 4 and you were like realizing that this wasn't something you wanted to do, when you say that, are you talking about being a skinhead?
Yeah. Well, not just being a skinhead, because, once you're kind of stuck in that mentality, it's hard to stop thinking like that. So it was just like, I didn't want to do this prison stuff anymore, before the skinhead stuff, I was just like, and plus, skinheads, you're not supposed to use dope. You're not supposed to do a whole bunch of stuff, but you see in prison, like I quit using. I'm like, okay, if I'm going to be about that life, then I'm going to be about that life. But you see, it was like a bunch of dope fiends, So
you're being clean to be a fucking warrior, but you're watching your brothers fucking strung out on dope on the compound.
Right. And there was no like consequences or repercussions for them. And so I was like, what's the point?
Yeah.
We might as well just ride.
So that made you question, like, what the fuck am I doing?
Right.
So then how did you go about like getting out and separating yourself from that?
So my term would have ended in 2007. And like I said, they came and arrested me on the murder in November of 2003.
Okay. So
when I went back to court, like I'd go back and forth, but in 2007, my case wasn't over yet. So they set me in county.
Okay.
And I'd already
that kind of got you away from it.
Yeah.
I got you.
Our county's so tiny, it only holds like 100 people. You know what I mean? So you could be away.
Damn, 100 people?
Yeah, it's like 122 people or something.
Well, damn, that's a small ass county, bro.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So what did end up happening when you went back and now you're facing these murder charges?
You know what? What's wild is that a CO actually started talking to me about God. Like, and I know he could have gotten a lot of trouble just even because proselytizing, that's a no-no.
Yeah.
But he seen I was going through it, man. I mean, my crimey, because we got our trial separated for the murder case, and he got found guilty on his immediately. Like, took like 3 hours to find him guilty.
Damn,
and got life without. And so I'm like, I'm stressing out, and I knew all these cops. Like, what's crazy, we went to school together or with their kids. So it's just such a small community. Dude was like, hey, man, I've known you since you were little. Like, have you start looking into like changing your life? And I think it was just at a point in my life where I needed to hear something like that.
Yeah, it's funny how God works, bro.
Yeah, he brought me a Bible, and he brought me a book called The Purpose Driven Life.
I've read that book, bro. I've read it.
And I'm like, now that because I went to school and got my master's in biblical studies. And so I look at Rick Warren's concepts, and they're, but that at that time I needed that book. Like,
yeah, it was crazy, man, how that works out. It's so nuts. That right there shows you, you know what I mean? Like, it's like proven, like right in front of you. So You have like a different kind of relationship with these cops than it sounds like you have like a friendly relationship with them to where they're trying to like mentor you, right?
Yeah, they were pretty cool up here. I mean, there was of course the few that, they weren't giving you, the time of day or whatever, but for the most part, these cops knew me, my mom, my mom was in and out of jail. So,
So,
you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean, bro. Mine is too.
Yeah. So, they knew me since, I was probably 7, 8 years old.
Yeah.
So they were cool with me. They were a little leery because when I came back from prison, I'm pretty
big,
good size.
tatted up, looking crazy.
Yeah, and they're like, I don't know what he's gonna do, but I kept it mellow as possible, especially fighting a murder case.
All right, so you're in county jail, man, and that cop talks to you. Where does you're making a big change, man. You know what I mean? Like you're not just changing you're changing you're changing the way you think, the way you program, the way you look at reality. So like how did you do that? Because I'm sure there's some people that want to know because they're still stuck in that shit. And like, what was the process for that?
You know what? The biggest thing is swallowing your pride. Like the biggest thing when you're starting to study and change your life, because there's going to be a whole lot of things that's going to go haywire in your life. And if you swallow your pride, you could look at like what the word of God says, or listen, you could take criticism, you could take advice a lot better when you're more humble. Because, when your ego is pumped up and you think, you're the baddest dude on the yard, you're not thinking about the good, positive things that can come out of stuff. No, that's what I started doing. I started swallowing my pride. I started humbling myself, regardless if I felt like somebody was getting over on me. I was like, it's all right. You know what I mean? Like, this is part of the process.
So you were ready, man.
I was ready. Like, and that was 2008 was the deposition of the murder case. So, I started thinking about that when I was sitting in county. And when I went back, that's when I dropped out.
So what happened? How'd you go back to prison? You planned like the murder case was over?
Yeah. So I had 2 hung juries. Both my hung juries were, the mistrials.
Okay.
Finally, they offered a deal, and they offered 17.
So you had 2 hung juries. So in California, they get 3 times to take you to trial, or no?
So that's kind of a common myth. So,
really? Because I thought that was like stone facts.
No, if they take you and they dismiss it with prejudice, then they don't have to try. Then they can't try you again. But if it's just a mistrial, they could try you as many times as they want.
Bro, that should be illegal, bro. They should get one shot. That's it.
No, I actually had to go do some studying because I told my lawyer, let's go. Like we got 2, we can get 1 more. And he's like, that's not how it works. He goes, go read this statute. So,
I didn't even know that, bro. Is that like a California thing, or that's like everywhere?
I don't know. It was in the California, California criminal law.
Yeah. So damn, that is like, now you got me pissed off thinking about that. I thought 2 times is bad. Now these motherfuckers get 3. Like, damn, bro.
Like in my case, the judge was like, you're settling this case. You have 1 conviction. Take the conviction and be happy with it.
So what did you end up getting convicted for?
For voluntary manslaughter, arson with great bodily injury, and robbery.
Oh man, so those are some hefty charges. So what'd you end up getting for that?
17.
Damn, you did 17, bro?
Yeah, so I did 17 years, 3 months, 11 days. And that's not counting some of the early county time.
Bro, that's a long time, man. It's almost 2 decades. So
yeah.
Man, you've been through it, bro.
Yeah.
You didn't just go right out 17. Like you were fighting for your life through that, like half of it seems like.
Yeah, like the last half showed me I could change my life. Like I could make it out here.
Yeah, because you were changing in there and you felt it, right?
Yep.
Yeah, man, that's what's up, bro. So what was the hardest thing for you to change? Like, I know you said pride, but like just you being a man, like, interacting in prison with other dudes, like that's not like swallowing your pride is hard, bro. So was that your biggest struggle, or did you have any other type of struggles?
No, that was my biggest struggle is humbling myself, because like I said, when you go SNY, like there's all kinds of dudes on the yard that you don't know what they're about. You know what I mean? Literally, I focused on sports, because now SNY, you could play with whoever you want. And so, you can't do that on the main line.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I love sport. I love every sport. And so I did that, taught Bible studies, went to college, I went to programs, whatever program I could see to gain some insight into myself. I just did it. I mean, I did everything possible because it's.
You did what every other fucking man should do when they go to prison.
Right.
But bro, when you're on a compound, there ain't too many people doing what you were doing.
No, I mean, and then, for the most part on the SNY, like the lifers that dropped out, the lifers were over there putting in work because now they're getting out here in California. These last 4 years, a lot of my friends that were lifers got out because they put in the work. You know what I mean?
You're talking about changing in prison?
Yeah.
That's a lot of work, man.
Yeah, they put in the work and the board saw it and let them out. So, I seen it. It just, when you're in the lifestyle, you don't see people want to change. That's why I wasn't scared to come on here and tell you I went SNY, because people got to know you got to take a stand in changing your life while you're in there. Because if you wait till you come home, it's too late.
Yeah, that's true, bro. That's facts right there. So would you say, like, when you were in prison at all those years, man, did you see a lot of guys trying to change, or did you see them caught up in the cycle?
Both. I mean, I probably seen it was more people caught up in the cycle than trying to change. A lot of my buddies, we had the same mind frame, but now that I've been home and I see my friends coming home and they're out here messing up, I'm trying to support them and help them. It's kind of frustrating because I'm like, man, you were doing so good. Like, we had plans, like you know better. And they're out here messing up.
Yeah, man, I see that a lot too. So I know exactly what you mean. You're almost like helpless. You know what I mean? I've been the dude that was out there fucking up again. And then I've also been the dude watching other people, and I didn't see it. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people saw it, but I didn't. So you went to college, you got your master's. Right. What was it like, man, getting out after 17 years?
Man, it was intense. I mean,
I bet, bro.
Everything. Like, and it's another story. Like, I had a hard first week out. You know what I mean? Like, drama with family, and like, it was just a lot to take in.
Damn. So what? Your family was like, "Whoa!" Like, can you talk about the drama, or is that like, if it's personal? I get it.
Well, like my sister was starting shit with my wife, and then my mom was, going. My mom went off the deep end, and then so I had to go stay at my dad's. Because my wife was living out in Michigan when I got out.
So you're married the whole time you're in prison?
No, we got back together in 2013. Like, we have a 25-year-old son together. And so we went apart all these years, have different relationships, came back, and, both of us served God, and we got back together 2013, 2014, been together ever since.
And that's good though, because you got a kid. So that makes it, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All right. So when you got out, like, what, besides like the family drama, and I mean, obviously you had to find a place to live, you had to get everything, bro. Like, you're starting scratch. So how long would you say it was before you finally felt like, okay, man, like, I'm accomplishing shit, and I see the light at the end of the tunnel?
Probably because you get 100 no's for jobs before you get a yes.
That's a fact.
There's only a couple like industries around here where you make decent money, and all those industries were telling me no, because I had no like work history or no, nothing.
And you got felonies that are on your record.
And I'm super honest. Like, I was super honest. I'm like, look, I just came home. This is what I did to change my life while I was in there. These are the vocations I took that could help my skill set. And they still were like, no, like, you have no work history. Give us 8 months of work history.
Yeah, but I would just, bro, I had the same problems, and I would have my family, I'd make up a business name and give them my uncle's address and phone number. So
right.
I get what you're doing. You're trying to live the life, change, man. So let's like not run from our past, but let's like face it.
At first, what was cool is my first boss, he was an elder in my church, and gave me a shot at a pilot truck stop.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the gas station like things. Yeah.
And then, within a few months, I went from just, slaving over a fryer to the head of maintenance, because he knew my skill set,
That's what's up, bro. So you're getting promotions now.
Like, that was when he came and told me, like look, your work ethic is great. You know, this is what I want to do. This is my plan. I'm like, that's when I knew. I was like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. And then the pastor at my church asked me to give a message, give a sermon at church. And that, like, those two things was around the same time. And
Yeah, those are big.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, I'm making it.
So other than the employment and like just being free and everything, out of the whole time from when you left the gate to where you are today, what has been the biggest struggle for you to just stay on the straight and narrow? Or like, what are your struggles?
You know, for me, it was cutting people loose, no matter how close they were to me before, because I see a lot, like I said, a lot of my friends, people I grew up with, family, I've had to cut so many people out of my life. And that was the hardest struggle, because I know I want to hang out with them. I want to see them. I want to spend time with them. But if I'm going to spend time with them, I'm putting myself in that position to either use dope, get caught up with police in some way or another.
Yeah.
You know, like that was this biggest struggle all the way probably up until about a year ago, where I was like, you know what? I'm just going to live my life. I got this beautiful wife. I got 2 beautiful daughters at home. Like,
yeah, it ain't worth it, man. And they weren't writing you when you were in prison. They were probably in there with you, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that they say, bro, like people, places, things, they say that in like addiction and recovery.
Right.
And then, you know, there's this saying, bro, like you hang around a barber shop long enough, you're going to get a haircut.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, I mean, for you to see that though, I see that too, you know what I mean, in my life. And
Right.
just recognizing that is growth, man, because before, bro, we could have 10 people sitting in front of us being like, you're doing this, you need to change, this is going to happen. And we're like, I'm good. And then like fast forward 5 years now, all that shit they said has come true. And
Yep.
you're sitting there looking like a dumbass. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's what keeps me from wanting to go back down that road, because I know where it goes. You know what I mean? We know. We like,
you know, every morning I get to wake up and like I look at my wife, I look at my boss now, who is an awesome person, who gave me a shot at getting a place to live when nobody else would, and then gave me a job to be, you know, to work in the office where I'm not beating up my body, you know.
yeah, chilling.
And yeah, doing good, doing cool work. You know, I work in a real estate office, so you know, I'm over there. I look at
I didn't picture you in a real estate office, man. So how did all that go down?
So I was at Pilot and I was looking for another job because the high bosses, like corporate, wouldn't let me go any higher. They told the boss at the store, you know, his record, he can't be a manager, you know, like a GM or anything.
Yeah, like a key, you can't hold keys and shit.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, you know, he goes, look, I want you as my right hand, but they're not going to let me. So, you know, the love I have for you, I'm telling you, go try to find something else. And we're renting through my work. And so I was talking to
where you're leaving your job is where you're also renting your apartment.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm at Pilot, and all of a sudden, you know, my real estate agency, you know, she's like, hey, I had to fire my assistant. You know, it's a hard job. I was like, I took office services in the pen, you know, like I'm a people person. I could do it. And she's like, you know what? I've never had a guy like work in the office. So as far as, you know, doing property management, she's like, okay. And I've been there 2 years. Now I get at Pilot, I didn't hardly see my family because my hours were all crazy. And here, you know, I got a regular 8 to 5 job and
living life.
Living life, man. It's nice.
Yeah, man. That's why I wanted you to come on the channel, because there's a lot of people still watching these videos that are doing, you know, in addiction or, you know, committing crimes. And you're a perfect walking example of what happens when you decide like to make a change and, you know, become a better person. And that's why I do what I do, man. So I appreciate you coming on and sharing your story. Do you have anyone you want to give a shout out to?
You know, just everybody, 2 things. Everybody that believed in me. I love you guys. You guys helped me push through some hard times. But everybody that wants to change but scared to, because you're scared of what the fellas are going to think of you or anything. Yeah. Hey, make that change, man. It's going to be the best thing ever for your life, for your family, for everybody. Don't be scared to make that change. You know, that's the message. Regardless of it's with God or self-help, whatever you're going to do it to the fullest. You know,
Yeah, there's no one like straight path to change. Like you don't have to become a sermon and go to church every day. Like there's, you know, there's different routes. So I think
right.
that's like where it kind of gets like construed on what change is. And you
Right.
can still be G'd up from the feet up and be a good dude. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So yeah, bro, I appreciate you coming on. You got a good story. And if you're new and you're tuning in for the first time, this is the kind of stuff I talk about on this channel: prison, jail, and change, growth, how we get from being a piece of shit to a good person in life. So if you like that kind of content, hit that subscribe button and turn your post notifications on. So every time I do drop an episode, you can hear it first. And with that, it's DOC TV and I'm out.